So today we're going to be making some felted soap. Here's some little examples. You can see, really nice to make, really easy, really simple, and it doesn't take too long either. So what you need is a bar of soap. I've got some Pears soap here. You just need some felt. I've chosen 3 colours that I'm going to mix, and also an old pair of tights or stocking. We're going to be putting the soap in here, and an elastic band. I've also got here, I've got cold water and I've got warm water, and what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be mixing the both onto the bar with the felt. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to choose my main colour, and I'm going to choose pink this time. And what I'm going to do is, I'm just opening up the felt so I can cover the bar completely in all the corners. So it looks a bit like a sheet. It doesn't have to be perfectly shaped, just as long as it covers it. Something like that. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to either warm or cold water, I'm just going to wet the bar and rub that in. And once it's all gone soapy all over, I'm going to grab the felt and I'm just going to place it over, and I'm going to wrap it around. Also, while doing this, dripping some water gently and a bit of cold water. And what that does is it bonds them together, makes a reaction. So the hot and the hot and cold water will cause a reaction for them to bond, and they will stick. Ooh. It is quite slippery, so that might happen, but that's okay. I'm just going to do the other side. And make sure that it's evenly coated on all corners and sides. And just rub it in. It's going to get soapy, and that's a good thing. That's what we want. You can start rubbing it in harder if you want, the more it sticks. But the more we do it, the more it'll stick anyway. You can see that's starting to stay now. And on this side, just make sure it's evenly coloured, so that when we add the other colours, it's not going to be too lumpy, because the lumps might not stay. Okay, and now I'm going to move on to my next colour, and I'm going to go with red. I'm going to be using a smaller amount of felt this time, and I'm just going to make them into little stringy bits. And I'm just going to put them around and wrap it around, and while doing that, rub into it, make sure it stays, and it will form its own little abstract pattern as you go along. It doesn't have to be perfect, of course. It will start to form its own cool pattern, like I have with these. And I'm just going to open that up a bit. On the other side, just pop that down. Not forgetting to add the water. And of course the warm water. And rub. while you're doing this, can you think of the sensory aspect? So what we're smelling, what we're feeling. How does it feel? What does it smell like? If it's soap, it's hopefully going to smell nice. And while you're doing this, it's actually cleaning your hands. And you can still use this as soap, definitely. And the more you use it, of course, the more it's going to bond with it. It'll be interesting to see what it looks like when you eventually run out of the bar. It doesn't really matter if there's little bits that aren't covered. It's completely up to you what you want out of this, or what colours you want to use as well, or how many colours. You can use as many colours as you like. I've just decided to use 3 because I know I quite like these colours. I think they work very well together. And just keep placing them over, wrap them around, rub them in. Makes quite a squishy sound. Can you hear that? Very soapy. And you can use any bar of soap for this. It doesn't have to be Pears. It can be any one of you like. And I'm just going to keep rubbing this in until I'm happy with it. So I'd say about just a few minutes, just rub them in. Make sure it's all stuck on. And then we're going to put it into some stockings and we're going to wrap it up. And we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to rub. So I'm going to grab my stocking, I'm going to put my hand in there, open my hand out. I find this method a lot easier than just putting it in, but I'm going to hold it and pull, and then it's in. And then twist the sock and then wrap it around. Okay, once that is secured and tight and all around the bar, we're just going to carry on rubbing. And this time it's not going to fade, it's not going to fall off, it's just going to stick. And the longer you do it, obviously, the more it'll bond, the more it will stick. And don't forget, keep adding the water and warm water. It doesn't matter which way, as long as it's both together. You might want some towels around you if it gets too wet. And you want to do this for, I'd say, about 5 to 10 minutes. Just keep rubbing. It gets a lot easier when it's in the sock because the bits aren't falling off at all. It's all secured in there. And this really makes sure that it will stay. See, my hands are getting very, very soapy. And right now I'm just dipping it in, just because I want to make sure that it's completely covered with the water and that the bond is working, and then just keep rubbing. Okay, and then I'm just going to let it dry for as long as it needs. You can dry it for a couple hours or half an hour, depending on how long, but as long as when you take this off, they will be bonded and they will stick, and that's what we want. So I'm going to put this over here to dry. Oh, wipe my hands on something. And eventually you will come out with little bars like this. I did these the other day, and of course you can still use them to wash your hands. I keep mine by the sink. You can have them anywhere, and you can see that is stuck. Even though it's quite big, it's still stuck onto it. And these little bits here. I'm really happy with these outcomes. Very pleased. And yeah, so that was my soap felting activity. I hope you enjoyed. I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you the finished product when this is dry. And yeah, thank you so much. Okay, so it's been about half an hour, 20 minutes, and I'm now going to release the felt. So gently take off the elastic bands around the sock. It smells lovely, I can smell it. Right. And I'm going to gently open it. I'm just going to grab it with my hand and then reveal what we got. Fab! And there we have it. Still a bit soapy, but that will dry. Here's the finished product. And now you can use that whenever. You can use it as soap, leave it by your sink, and it's got your own little touch to it. It's got your own little unique pattern with colours, and it's yours. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.